So I've been thinking about, because I didn't want to be the reason why young people don't really talk to older people anymore, because it is partially our fault. It has to do with self-aggrandizing and condescending, usually unintentionally, because you're trying to say, that that there's really no reason to wait for to do what you want to be able to do everything that you want to do. Is not what they're teaching, because they're telling you that you got to work and slave and save and scrimp and slave and everything, and it's not true. Like, if that was true, then it would be a crime to not prepare you and to tell you otherwise, but it's not true. And people don't want to accept this, that there are things that you can do now. And so it's like, we're not going to listen to these old people self-aggrandize and condescend. What can you actually teach then? What is it that the school district can do, since like it seems like maybe they're just an attempt to try to socialize is the only thing they got going. And really it's not necessarily always the vocational stuff that you learn in school. It's how to learn and how to study, and how to refine and direct your query so that you get a higher capture rate of valuable information that can help you to know what you got to do, because it's different from everybody. So that's obvious, right? So anything else should be a crime. Like, anything else you teach them should be a crime on God, because all these, how there's all this attention around trannies and pedophiles, and people who want to be shower in the girls' locker room and say that they have a marginalized reason that they belong there. It's pedagogy is the ability to learn. Like, when you say like teaching, you're teaching a scholarly demeanor and a methodology for someone to empower themselves, because you cannot give anybody anything tangible that they can keep. They can hardly keep the intangibles for very long. Like, that's the thing that you can keep the most, is intangible things like references. And pedagogy is something that the school is really geared toward teaching. And pedophiles are afraid of pedagogy because they cannot reproduce themselves. You know what I mean? Like, they're not reproducing the way that regular people reproduce. They have to produce another another pedophile. So it's like the only way to reproduce is with children. You understand? They're afraid of pedagogy. That's kind of that's the beacon on the runway that lets them know what to go for. Because it's like, you got to get, that's why they like them younger and young. That's why they like to get to them with the sublimations younger, to try to indoctrinate them younger. Because you can possess, it's like possession. That's why it's a fucking crime, because 9/10 of the fucking law is possession. So when they act like you don't have a way to eloquate or elucidate, they think you're not gonna be able to fucking explain what you've seen, and we're not touching you, and they're doing everything to try to irritate you because they get you to act crazy, and they're gonna label all these parents terrorists and shit like that. And so if it's not happening a lot right now and you think it's not something to complain about or anything like that, just wait, because that's what they want to fucking do. then when it's all cozy and fucking Cool World and fucking with the comforts of Cool World afforded, then they'll fucking get fucking comfortable and tell you to stay dangerous or some shit. Like they're savvy in a way that they know that it's just all comes down to they gotta win an argument, or it's to afford them that marginalized like minorities, like, so it's that civil rights all-star status that it's trying to go for, that, you know, austerity and all that shit, because then you can't come against them for what they're doing. It's all just premeditation. That all, you know what I mean? So it's like you say, well, why don't we do this and why don't we do that and arrest them and everything? It's because they are gonna get arrested. It's just not now. It's just because it's not until more people co-sign on their shit before then they realize it's not cool. Then they say, then those people that were proponents of this shit can turn around and say I didn't have nothing to do with it, and fucking they'll try to get you to take the blood on your hands. They're trying to get it, you know. And then, like, you know, as soon as everybody believes that they gotta vaccinate and do all this COVID shit, then they're gonna say, guess what, everybody, we won. The curve is flat. Just like they did with muscular dystrophy. Now there's no muscular dystrophy. It's cured, but there's muscular sclerosis. Probably have to go through the endocrine system and the limbic node to fucking, before working out any cure, some way to like put fucking lip balm on your shit. It's fucking, we're using Carmex for serious, you know, treatable illness, you know, non-curable, treatable, fucking maintain. You can maintain and walk you to over to your grave, that you don't even have to fucking go to. You don't even have to go to the grave. You need someone that is able to tell you that you're not out of the woods yet, to be reputable enough for you to hire them to take you out. You know what I mean? Like, it's like they are the most efficient, not like, you know, like they're the not the most efficient, but they're basically the most, it's like, it's the ability to say that you're not out of the woods yet, that we want somebody like that who's reputable enough, you know, to make you perfectly safe, to get you all the way out of the woods for good. Like, you don't have to worry about the woods ever again because you're dead. And fucking, there's a nice little way to mark it and wrap it up in a bow. Like you got COVID and you do everything for that you're supposed to do, you know, for consideration for everybody around you and everything. You end up fucking dead. Some asshole, you know what I mean, that doesn't like seemingly care or anything like that. Like, he's fucking healthy. Like, something is, if there's confusion, somebody's lying. That's what you just need to focus. I don't need credit for being honest if nobody could appreciate it. And before it was cool to say this. Like, I don't care about none of that shit. Just, you know, just to set that bad news is a deception. It's a deception. Because if I'm going to tell you some bad news, there's going to be a little joy and a little sorrow. I'm like, what is that? I mean, joy. You like joy to bring people bad news? I mean, nah. But, you know, like the kind of person I'm just imitating right now, like, I got to get pepper spray or find some way to get them off my fucking, like, I get off my trail. Like, they can't be trailblazing. Yeah, like, I gotta get away from those. That's the whole thing about, you know, like, the way I approach it is trying to get a lot of resources together at once and make a break, you know, a break for another state where I already have things lined up, you know, but nobody can acknowledge that I even have a plan, because maybe they don't like my plan, so they want to pretend like it doesn't exist rather than helping me with it. Because they think, you know, you can't bring you along with the direction I'm gonna go. I can't bring you along with my career. I can't bring you along. But see, I'm not going there. I'm not even gonna go to a career. I'm gonna pass all that shit. I'm just gonna pass it up. Like, I didn't have to have a career. I made all the resources that I needed in like in a really short period of time. Also a fluke, you know. But you could set yourself up for that kind of thing over again. Nobody knows what I'm doing. Maybe there's some design to this shit. People don't want to know what I'm doing. So I try to tell everybody. I never hid none of that shit. There's people like the person who used to drive me when she went to work, my mother. I would get a ride. She would drop me off. We worked in the same vicinity. I mean, not vicinity, in the same city. So she would drop me off on the way. I worked for a couple years. I didn't have to take the bus out most days. She was right there the whole time. She knows where the resources came from. Then I invested, exponentially multiplied that, and she wouldn't act like you did something illegal. She doesn't know where the money came from. What kind of mother is not happy that fucking I didn't sell drugs and fucking rob a bank? Like, she's retarded. You're gonna try to pretend you don't even want to realize. So I'm really trying so hard to get away that I'm not gonna do anything to get away from those kind of people. You're trying to, more or less, trying to get them to see it your way. You ain't trying to fucking get up out of here. You're trying to show people to see it your way. It was not designed to see it your way. If the way that they gotta be is like that, then it was never gonna be a thing.